William Whalen here for GetMoreSports.com, and this morning we are talking about the Texas Longhorns over in the Big 12 Conference. Rick Barnes' team came into the season as one of the most anticipated bounce-back stories in college basketball, and thus far it has not gone exactly as they planned. Now, the Longhorns played a tough non-conference schedule, including a matchup with Kentucky, which they competed well in, but since then, things have been tremendously inconsistent, and right now, UT finds himself at 17-9 overall and just 6-7 in the Big 12. Looking forward, they have 4 games left against ranked teams, 2 of which are going to be on the road against the likes of West Virginia and Kansas. So you start to ask yourself, what's in store for this team and what's going wrong? And I'm here to tell you. One of the biggest factors when looking at Texas and overall, we can talk about their tournament resume, which their RPI in the low 30s right now is still safe, but are they a lock? Are they truly a lock? A lock is only when you can lose every game that you have left to play and still get into the NCAA tournament. 6 conference wins. When 6 conference wins do it, I don't care if you play in the Big 12 as good as it is. I don't see that happening. So we need to really start to dissect this team. And it starts with the fact that they have not beaten a team with a winning record in conference play since January 17th when they beat West Virginia. It has been quite some time, and that was a home game. And so when we start to look at things, every time they play somebody with a pulse, they're dropping the game right now. And where has things gone wrong? Rick Barnes, really, this was supposed to be his year where he got Texas back on track because of the likes of Javon Felix, the exciting 5'11" guard out of New Orleans. Certainly, when you have a veteran like Jonathan Holmes, then you throw in a big-time talent in Miles Turner and put him alongside the guard play that they have with Isaiah Taylor, and you're thinking, hey, this team has a lot of keys, a lot of pieces going into the season, but the pieces have been wildly inconsistent. Let's start with Felix. He has been efficient from the floor at 44% for a smaller guard. He's been efficient from beyond the arc, shooting over 40%, and yet he's only averaging 10 points per game. I want to see the aggressiveness increase from Felix. He's got to be able to step up and take over games like we know that he can. On the flip side, another guard, Isaiah Taylor, efficiency is down. He averages over 4 assists per game. So clearly he can get this team going a bit in terms of distributing the ball. However, his shooting percentages are porous, and he's actually 3rd on the team in total shots. And so I would like to see him take a little bit of backseat, feed Miles Turner a little bit. Miles Turner has been really, at times, spectacular. Like any freshman, he's got games where he's only scoring 7, 8, 9 points. But nonetheless, as a big man, that's going to happen in college basketball. Just dropped 25 points, 23 points the other day against Texas Tech. That's the kind of aggressiveness that we really like to see out of him. Feed him. Feed Jonathan Holmes. Get Jonathan Holmes active because Jonathan Holmes is the key to this team. He has been wildly inconsistent with his effort. He's had a couple games in conference where he's gone 0 for 10 just a month ago. That's not what I want to see out of him. I want to see a Jonathan Holmes who affects the game in multiple ways. Get yourself some easy shots. Get to the free throw line. Don't rely on their three-point jumper. I know as his body has transformed over the last couple of years, he's focused on the perimeter, but he is a big-time talent for this team, a big key for this team moving forward, and they need him to play like it. Now, looking at the resume, you got the top 100 wins. You got the strength of schedule. The RPI is still in the low 32. But what I really want to see from this team is they got to pick up a key road win. Winning at West Virginia would be tremendous for this team. Knocking off Iowa State at home or Baylor at home. Those are the wins that Texas needs to really get their mojo back. And then you cannot drop one against Kansas State in the last conference game before the conference tournament. That's the last thing you can do right now because Kansas State is on the wrong side of the bubble. Texas should feel all right, but you're not going to get in losing all of your last 6 games for sure. And so this is where you got to kind of pick things up, get things going. You got to enter the conference tournament with less than 12 losses. So that means you can only afford 3. If you lose both road games, it means you can only drop 1 at home against one of those ranked teams. I'm not sure that I buy them to do that right now, given their inconsistencies. The talent is there. Rick Barnes has to mold this team into what it was supposed to be once again.